One of history's greatest adventure stories doesn't begin with a terrifying monster or an epic battle. Instead, it starts with a hero who couldn't resist celebrating his own success. Odysseus had already escaped danger and was safely sailing away when he shouted his real name to the monster he had just defeated. That single act of pride set off a chain of events that transformed what should have been a short journey home into a 10-year struggle filled with suffering, loss, and endless obstacles. By the end of his voyage, every one of his companions was dead. His kingdom believed he had vanished forever, and even the gods seemed determined to prevent his return. The story asks an important question. How did the wisest and most resourceful hero in Greece become responsible for his own downfall? The tale begins after the end of the Trojan War, a conflict that had lasted for 10 exhausting years. The Greeks had repeatedly failed to conquer Troy because its massive walls could not be broken by force. Odysseus finally devised an ingenious strategy that relied on deception instead of strength. The Greeks pretended to abandon the war, leaving behind a gigantic wooden horse while secretly hiding their finest warriors inside it. Believing the horse to be a symbol of victory, the Trojans proudly brought it into their city. During the night, the hidden soldiers emerged, opened the gates for the returning Greek army, and by morning, the once great city of Troy had fallen in flames. With the war finally over, Odysseus longed to return to his wife, Penelope, his son, Telemachus, and his kingdom of Ithaca. However, his troubles began almost immediately. His men attacked the city of the Cicones, gathering food and treasure, but ignored Odysseus's order to leave quickly. While they celebrated their victory, the surviving Cicones gathered reinforcements and launched a devastating counterattack, killing many of Odysseus's soldiers. Soon afterward, violent storms drove the fleet far off course until they reached the land of the lotus eaters. The lotus fruit did not kill those who ate it, but it caused them to forget their homes and lose all desire to leave, forcing Odysseus to drag his own men back to their ships. The greatest danger soon arrived on the island of the Cyclops. Odysseus and several companions entered a cave filled with food and livestock, hoping to meet its owner despite his crew urging him to leave. The cave belonged to Polyphemus, a gigantic one-eyed Cyclops and the son of Poseidon, the god of the sea. After trapping the men inside with an enormous stone, Polyphemus began eating them 2 at a time. Since killing the monster would leave them trapped forever, Odysseus relied on intelligence instead of force. He tricked the Cyclops by introducing himself as nobody, gave him strong wine until he fell asleep, and then blinded him with a burning wooden stake. When Polyphemus cried out for help, the other Cyclopes asked who had attacked him. Since he answered, nobody, they believed no one was harming him and walked away. Odysseus then tied himself and his remaining men beneath the bellies of the giant sheep, allowing them to escape unnoticed when the animals left the cave. The clever plan worked perfectly until Odysseus made one fatal mistake. As his ship sailed away safely, he proudly shouted his real name to the Cyclops, wanting credit for his victory. Polyphemus prayed to his father Poseidon, asking that Odysseus would reach home only after years of suffering, alone and broken. From that moment, Poseidon made the sea itself an enemy of the Greek hero. Odysseus was later welcomed by Aeolus, the ruler of the winds, who gave him a remarkable gift. All the dangerous winds were sealed inside a leather bag, leaving only a gentle breeze to carry the fleet directly to Ithaca. For 9 days, the journey went perfectly, and home finally appeared on the horizon. Exhausted from steering the ship, Odysseus fell asleep, believing the mysterious bag contained hidden treasure. His curious crew secretly opened it, releasing every violent wind at once. The storms blew them far away from home again, and when Odysseus begged Aeolus for another chance, the Wind King refused, believing the gods themselves had turned against him. The disasters continued without mercy. A race of enormous giants destroyed 11 of Odysseus's 12 ships by hurling huge rocks at them, leaving only his own vessel to escape. The survivors later reached the island of the enchantress Circe, who welcomed part of the crew before transforming them into pigs. With help from Hermes, Odysseus received a magical herb that protected him from Circe's spells, allowing him to force her to restore his men. Surprisingly, instead of leaving immediately, Odysseus and his crew remained on her island for an entire year. Eventually, his companions reminded him that they still had families waiting for them at home. Before continuing the journey, Circe instructed Odysseus to visit the underworld and seek advice from the prophet Tiresias. There, he was warned never to harm the sacred cattle belonging to the sun god Helios if he wished to reach Ithaca. Odysseus also met the spirit of his mother, who had died while waiting for him to return, making him realize the painful cost of his long absence. Back at sea, he survived the deadly sirens by having his crew block their ears with wax while tying him securely to the ship's mast so he alone could hear their irresistible song. Later, he faced a terrible decision between a massive whirlpool and the six-headed monster Scylla. Choosing the lesser danger, he watched helplessly as Scylla seized and devoured 6 of his men. Eventually, storms trapped the crew on the island, where Helios's sacred cattle grazed. As food supplies disappeared, hunger became stronger than fear. While Odysseus slept, his men ignored every warning and slaughtered the sacred animals. Zeus immediately punished them by striking their ship with a thunderbolt, sinking it and killing every remaining sailor except Odysseus. Alone, he drifted to the island of the nymph Calypso, who offered him eternal life if he stayed with her forever. Despite the promise of immortality, Odysseus desired only to return home. After 7 years, Zeus ordered Calypso to release him, and although Poseidon sent one final storm, kind strangers eventually helped the exhausted hero reach Ithaca after 20 long years away. Odysseus returned to find his palace occupied by over 100 arrogant suitors who believed he was dead and wanted Penelope to choose a new husband. Penelope delayed them by weaving a burial cloth during the day and secretly undoing it each night. Disguised as an old beggar by Athena, Odysseus entered his home unnoticed except by his faithful dog Argos, who recognized his master before dying peacefully. Penelope announced that whoever could string Odysseus's mighty bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads would marry her. Only Odysseus succeeded, revealing his true identity before defeating every suitor with the help of his son, Telemachus. After proving himself to Penelope through the secret of their immovable olive wood bed, the family was finally reunited. The Odyssey ultimately teaches that while monsters and battles may be terrifying, the greatest challenge any person faces is overcoming pride, because true wisdom often lies in knowing when to remain silent.